Hi everyone, Katie the Trans Refuge again. So today I'm going to talk about passing. So, what is passing? If you're watching this video, you've never heard this term. Passing means that when you're out in public, that people identify you as the gender that you personally identify with. So for me, that means that when I'm out in public, people see me as a woman. For a transmasculine person, it means that people see them as a man. It gets complicated if we're talking about non-binary people who may not see themselves as a binary gender. You know, their presentation isn't necessarily man or woman. So this video is primarily for binary people, somebody who's transmasculine or transfeminine. If you are, gender fluid, agender, somewhere under the non-binary umbrella where man or woman does not apply, then this video might not be that relevant. So Saturday night, I had dinner with a friend of mine who happens to be a trans woman. And she was a little bit anxious about whether or not she'd be perceived as a woman. And we had a little chit chat about it, and we're heading into a restaurant to have dinner, and my observation was, you totally pass. You look like a woman. I don't think you got anything to worry about. So anyway, as we're having dinner, the waitress that was waiting on us was addressing her as a woman. And it got me thinking about this, and that's why I chose to do this video today, is I know that when I started passing as a woman, it happened when I didn't expect it. I was still presenting as male. I was going out in public presenting as a man, and I would get addressed as ma'am or miss or lady or she or her. And at first it caught me by surprise, because I was like, oh, I'm not even trying to be seen as a woman quite yet. I was actually trying to conceal that at the time, and I've seen it happen with other people, that they start passing as their identified gender in public before they even realize it, that other people see them more as their identified gender than maybe even they themselves do. And I think some of the reasons for that is, we have a lot of internalized fear, because we're thinking so much about what if I don't pass, that we're expecting that we won't. And so when we get out in public, the people around us, they're not really concerned with whether or not somebody looks like their gender or not. People just see what they see. And, so, like in the case of my friend that I had dinner with, they saw a woman. And, same with the case where, when I was starting to pass as a woman, was people just saw a woman. So, I've known people who, at least appearance-wise, as far as like their face, their hair, their body shape, everything, they could pass, but they don't. And sometimes it's intentional. Some people just, they don't care. They don't care if they pass. It's not something they want to put a lot of effort into, because it's not important to them. That's an individual thing. For some people, it is not important. They are confident who they are. They don't feel that they need to convince anyone else of who they are. And so therefore what others think or how others see them is irrelevant. And that's fine. You know, if you're confident, you know, regardless of how people see you, that is a, you know, that's a pretty liberating thing. I personally do care. And I've been very fortunate in that, you know, I pass pretty well. And, you know, that's not to, like, you know, blow my own horn. I know one of the areas that I get a little anxious about is my voice. You know, even now, when I've been living full-time as a woman for several months, and I really don't have too many problems with my voice, but every once in a while, a noise will come out of my mouth that, you know, kind of makes me go, that sounded terrible. Some things to think about if passing is important to you. You know, there are, you know, the visual things like clothing, hair, also visual things that aren't necessarily like clothing, but like body language. I think the word is comportment, how you carry yourself, how you, you know, how you move, how you stand, how you sit, how you move about through your life. So there's that. Then, of course, there's the auditory things like your voice, you know, pitch, resonance, intonation, tone. That's another one. You know, and then there is, I would say, a third thing, which isn't really, it's not something you can measure. It's not something that anybody could really observe, like in the same way that they could observe your appearance or the way that your voice sounds, and it's confidence. You know, a cisgender man or a cisgender woman doesn't go around being concerned about whether or not anyone thinks they look like a man or a woman or sounds like a man or a woman or anything like that. Because they've never had to question that. They've never had to be concerned with it. Because, you know, their body went through the right puberty for their gender identity, and everything is congruent. And so, you know, it's just something they don't even worry about. You know, for us who happen to be transgender and we are concerned with passing, you know, it is something that it's an extra consideration that we have to live with, you know, that the average person does not. And when you go out in public and you see people just going about their lives, and you can tell that they're not concerned with, you know, their voice, their facial structure, their body shape, you know, things like that. You notice that the way that they interact with the world around them is different. And that's something that we have to observe and emulate. You know, that confidence, that, you know, that they can walk into a store and, you know, interact with a cashier or, you know, just anything like that, where as a transgender person, something like that can be very anxiety inducing. Because you're like, oh no, I have to talk to somebody. You know, what if I have to talk to the cashier and, you know, the cashier asks me, you know, how my day is or something, you know, and they want to chit chat. And you're like, oh gosh, my voice, you know, I don't want to deal with this. You know, can we just have the self-checkout things where I can just get in and interact with the machine and get out? You know, so learning to have that confidence level where even if things, like say your voice isn't quite where you want it, you can go through those daily interactions and not feel, feel like you're the object of attention, that people are staring and wondering, well, what is the deal with that person? Things like that. Another thing is, look at the way people dress. The way, your identified gender, man or woman, how do the people in your area dress? One thing I've noticed, and this isn't to throw anyone under the bus, but if you dress in a way that's unusual for, the culture in your region, it draws attention. It does help, it makes you a little conspicuous. People see you more. And when you have more eyes on you, people scrutinize you, and, and it makes you nervous, and then you're making, if you feel nervous, you look nervous, and that breaks that confidence. So, try, you don't have to copy people. An example is, I work in the business world here. I do business to business sales. And in the American business world, especially here in the Midwest, in the industry that I work in, the business world tends to be fairly casual. It's going to be like that business casual. Somebody like me walking into a client meeting wearing a very formal outfit, which would look more in place at, a Fortune 500 boardroom meeting, I would look very out of place. And my client is going to think, what's going on with this person? What, are they full of themselves? Why are they showing up dressed like this when nobody else dresses that way? Like a factory. I go into a lot of factories. I meet with a lot of engineers, engineering managers, director of, quality, or director of manufacturing. People in those environments don't tend to wear like 3-piece suits or, a tailored, skirt and jacket, and all that. It's going to be fairly casual. It's going to look professional, but it's going to look casual. Same with makeup. If the people in your region and in your cultural context tend to wear, more of a conservative makeup, if you say you're trans feminine and you go out with bright colors and, just very attention grabbing, that's going to draw that attention. Doesn't mean that it's bad. It doesn't mean that you can't express yourself that way, but be aware that it will draw the eyes to you. And if you're just trying to blend into the crowd and go about your day, it's going to make it harder. Again, if you feel confident that way and the extra attention doesn't bother you, that's great. But if you've been getting lots of negative attention, you just can't figure out, why do people seem so bothered by me? Take a look at how the people around you, go to a store, go to Walmart, go anywhere, just observe people, just go people watching. Just make notes. Look at how people dress. Look at, if you're trans feminine, look at how people do their makeup. Look at how people style their hair. Look at how people walk. Look how people stand. Look at, there's a lot of things you can observe about people. I know, especially on the trans masculine side of things, just something as simple as posture, whether standing or sitting, can make a huge difference. And just making that one small observation and putting it into practice can really change things and give you a big confidence boost. So anyway, I'm going to continue on my travels. I've got another 2 hours to drive. I hope you're having a great week. I'll try to get some more content out this week. I've got a little bit of open time, so I'm going to try to think about some things that, might be some timely and relevant videos to make for people. So have a great week. I'll talk to you later. Bye.